Hello, and welcome to Senior Wise Journey. It's wonderful to have you with us today. I want you to travel back with me for a moment. Picture a classic American morning. The smell of coffee brewing, the gentle light of dawn filtering through the kitchen window, and the unmistakable, comforting sizzle of an egg in a hot pan. For generations, the humble egg has been the cornerstone of our breakfast tables, a symbol of a hearty, wholesome start to the day. It's a food packed with memories, with protein, and with potential. But what if I told you that the way many of us have been preparing this kitchen hero for 50, 60, or even 70 years might be silently chipping away at the very health we're trying to build? Today, we're not here to demonize the egg. Quite the opposite. We're on a journey to elevate it, to rediscover its power, and to ensure this golden orb of nutrition is truly serving us in our golden years. Stick with me, because we're about to unlock the secrets to making every egg you eat a powerful ally for your health. Part 1. The seduction of the sizzle. Why overcooking is undercutting your health. There's something deeply satisfying about a crispy-edged fried egg, isn't there? That lacy, browned border promises flavor and texture. Many of us were taught that well done means safe, and we've carried that belief with us. But here's the first crucial piece of wisdom we need to unpack. When it comes to eggs, that intense, high-heat cooking is a double-edged sword. And for seniors, the sharpest edge is cutting away at our well-being. This is our first mistake, routinely overcooking our eggs. Let's talk about what happens when an egg hits a screaming hot pan. The proteins begin to change, which is good, that's cooking. But under excessive heat, something more sinister occurs. The wonderful, healthy cholesterol naturally found in the yolk undergoes a process called oxidation. Think of it like cellular rust. This oxidized cholesterol is no longer the helpful building block our body recognizes. Instead, it becomes an irritant, a pro-inflammatory agent that can contribute to the hardening of our arteries and increase the risk of cardiovascular events. For those of us already managing blood pressure or keeping a close eye on heart health, this is critical information. Remember Robert from our story, a 76-year-old gentleman, a veteran, who took pride in his morning routine. 2 eggs, fried hard, every single day. He loved that crispy edge. But for years, he'd been battling persistent heartburn and a feeling of sluggishness that he just chalked up to getting older. When his doctor noted his inflammation markers were creeping up, Robert started connecting the dots after a conversation with his daughter. He didn't stop eating eggs. He simply changed his method. He turned the heat down, covered the pan with a lid, and let the steam gently cook the top. No more browned, crispy edges. Within a month, he reported his morning heartburn had vanished, and that heavy, sluggish feeling after breakfast was gone. He hadn't changed what he ate, only how he cooked it. But it's not just about adding bad things. It's about destroying the good. Eggs are a powerhouse of delicate, essential nutrients. They're rich in vitamin B12 for nerve function and energy, folate for cell repair, and 2 superstar antioxidants called lutein and zeaxanthin. These last 2 are absolute heroes for our eyes, helping to protect against macular degeneration and cataracts, conditions that become all too common as we age. When you blast an egg with high heat, you are effectively destroying a significant portion of these precious nutrients. That grayish-green ring you sometimes see around the yolk of a hard-boiled egg, that's iron sulfide, a harmless but clear visual signal that the egg has been overcooked and its nutritional profile has been compromised. So, what's the wise alternative? Embrace gentle heat. Think of it as coaxing the egg to perfection, not forcing it. For scrambling, use low heat and stir constantly for a soft, creamy curd. For frying, aim for a sunny side up or over easy, where the yolk remains liquid gold, full of its preserved nutrients. For boiling, place eggs in cold water, bring to a boil, then immediately turn off the heat, cover the pot, and let them sit for 8 to 10 minutes. This cooks them through gently, yielding a bright, beautiful yellow yolk. This isn't about eating bland food. A gently cooked egg is more flavorful, more tender, and infinitely more beneficial. It's the first, simplest step to transforming your breakfast from a potential source of inflammation into a true superfood.
Part 2. The Raw Deal. Reevaluating raw and runny eggs. From old-school bodybuilders gulping them down Rocky style to fancy sauces and homemade mayonnaise, the idea of using raw eggs has a certain allure of maximum nutrition. The logic seems sound. If cooking destroys nutrients, then raw must be better, right? This leads us to our second common mistake: consuming raw or significantly undercooked eggs without understanding the risks. While the intention might be pure, the potential consequences, especially for us, can be severe. The primary villain in this story is a bacteria you've surely heard of: Salmonella. While modern egg production has made contamination less common, the risk is never zero. An egg can be contaminated either on the outside of the shell or, less frequently, on the inside as it's being formed. For a young person with a robust immune system, a bout of salmonella might mean a miserable couple of days with an upset stomach, but for an older adult, it's a different ballgame. Our immune systems naturally become less aggressive with age. A salmonella infection can quickly escalate from stomach cramps and diarrhea to severe dehydration, requiring hospitalization. It puts immense stress on our entire system, a stress we simply don't need. Let's consider Margaret, 68, a vibrant woman who was passionate about her health. She read that raw egg smoothies were the secret to absorbing every last nutrient. For years, this was her morning ritual. One week, she came down with a debilitating bout of nausea and stomach pain that laid her up for days. Her doctor diagnosed her with salmonella poisoning, traced back to her beloved smoothies. The experience was a wake-up call. Margaret learned she could get the same high-quality protein and vitamins from a perfectly poached or scrambled egg without playing roulette with her health. Beyond the bacterial risk, there's a fascinating nutritional reason to cook your eggs. Raw egg whites contain a protein called avidin. Avidin has a unique property. It binds very tightly to biotin, an essential B vitamin. Biotin is vital for our energy metabolism, nerve function, and maintaining healthy skin and hair. When you eat a raw egg, the avidin latches onto the biotin, preventing your body from absorbing it. Essentially, the raw egg is robbing you of one of its own key nutrients. The simple act of cooking, however, deactivates avidin, breaking its hold and allowing your body to freely absorb all the beneficial biotin. So what does safely cooked mean? The USDA recommends cooking eggs until both the yolk and the white are firm. If you're someone who truly loves a runny yolk in their Eggs Benedict or on top of a hash, there is a safer option: pasteurized eggs. These eggs have been gently heated in their shells to a temperature that kills any potential bacteria without actually cooking the egg. They are readily available in most supermarkets, usually in a carton right next to the regular eggs. They are the perfect compromise for recipes that call for raw or runny yolks. The takeaway here is about smart risk management. While the odds of getting sick are low, the stakes for our health are high. Why take the chance when a fully, safely cooked egg is just as delicious and nutritionally superior in its biotin availability? Let's choose the path of wisdom and safety, ensuring our bodies get all the benefits with none of the risks.
Part 3. The Danger Zone, a lesson in post-cooking care. We've focused on the cooking process, but the journey of an egg from pan to plate doesn't end there. Life happens. The phone rings, a grandchild needs attention, or we get lost in a good story on the morning news. That plate of perfectly scrambled eggs sits on the counter. This brings us to a frequently overlooked area. Mistake number 3. Improper storage of cooked eggs. What seems like a harmless delay can turn a healthy meal into a breeding ground for bacteria. Food safety experts talk about the temperature danger zone, which is the range between 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 4 degrees Celsius to 60 degrees Celsius. In this zone, bacteria like Salmonella, Listeria, and E. coli can multiply at an astonishing rate. A single bacterium can become thousands in just a few hours. Leaving cooked eggs on the kitchen counter for more than 2 hours, or just 1 hour if the room is warm, puts them squarely in this danger zone. As we've discussed, our mature immune systems have to work harder to fight off invaders, making us more susceptible to foodborne illness. Think of George, a practical 72-year-old widower who loved efficiency. To save time, he'd cook a big batch of scrambled eggs on Monday to last him for a few days. He'd store them in the fridge in the same bowl he mixed them in, loosely covered with a paper towel. He started experiencing intermittent, mild digestive distress, a bit of cramping, some nausea that he couldn't explain. He thought it was just his digestion acting up. After learning about proper food storage, he made 2 simple changes. He started making smaller batches every other day, and he stored them immediately in airtight, sealed containers. His mysterious stomach troubles disappeared completely. George's story highlights 2 key principles: timeliness and proper containment. Cooked eggs should be refrigerated within 2 hours of cooking. An airtight container is crucial. It not only prevents the eggs from drying out, but also protects them from cross-contamination. Your refrigerator contains other foods, raw vegetables from the garden, a package of chicken you plan to cook for dinner. If cooked eggs are exposed, they can easily pick up bacteria from these other items. An airtight container is like a personal security guard for your leftovers. Now let's talk about reheating. We've all done it. Zapped leftover eggs in the microwave, only to be met with a rubbery, slightly sad version of their former selves. Microwaving tends to heat unevenly and aggressively, which can overcook the proteins all over again, making the eggs tough and destroying even more nutrients. The best way to reheat scrambled or fried eggs is gently on the stovetop over low heat. Add a tiny splash of water, milk, or broth to reintroduce some moisture and gently stir until they're warmed through. It takes a minute longer, but the result is infinitely more pleasant and better for you. For hard-boiled eggs, simply place them in a bowl and cover them with boiling water for a few minutes to take the chill off. Proper storage isn't fussy, it's fundamental. It's an act of respect for the food you've prepared and for the body you're nourishing. By quickly and securely storing your cooked eggs, you ensure that the meal remains as safe and nutritious as it was the moment it left the pan.
Part 4. Cracking the Code. The Wisdom of a Fresh, Sound Egg. We've talked about cooking and storing, but the story of a safe egg begins long before it ever meets a pan. It starts at the grocery store, in that carton you place in your cart. This leads us to our 4th mistake: using eggs that are damaged, past their prime, or stored incorrectly from the start. An eggshell is a natural marvel of packaging, but it's not invincible. Let's start with the most obvious culprit: a cracked egg. Even a tiny hairline fracture that you can barely see is an open door, inviting bacteria from the outside world to come in. No matter how clean the farm or the store, the environment is not sterile. When you bring home a carton, take 30 seconds to open it and inspect each egg. If you find a cracked one, the safest course of action is to discard it. It's simply not worth the risk. Then there's the question of freshness, which can be surprisingly tricky. We see the sell-by or best-by date on the carton and take it as gospel. But this date is more of a guideline for the store's inventory than a hard and fast rule for safety. An egg's true freshness depends heavily on how it was handled on its journey to you and how you store it at home. This is where a bit of old-fashioned wisdom comes in handy. The float test. It's simple, elegant, and it works. Place an egg in a bowl of cold water. If it sinks to the bottom and lays flat on its side, it's very fresh. If it sinks but stands up on one end, it's a bit older but still perfectly good to eat. Cook it thoroughly. If it floats to the surface, it has gone bad. Throw it out. Why does this work? Over time, the liquid inside an egg evaporates through the porous shell, and the air cell at the large end gets bigger. The more air inside, the more buoyant the egg becomes. It's a simple physics lesson that can save you from the unpleasant experience of a bad egg, like our friend Evelyn. At 74, Evelyn was a savvy shopper, but she never thought to second-guess the dates on her carton. One morning, she cracked an egg that had a slightly off smell, but she dismissed it and cooked it anyway. Hours later, she was dealing with a nasty case of food poisoning. It was a lesson she never forgot. Now, the float test is a non-negotiable step in her kitchen routine. Finally, let's talk about where you store your eggs at home. Most refrigerators have those convenient little egg cups built right into the door. It seems like the perfect spot, but it's actually the worst. The door is the warmest part of the fridge and is subject to constant temperature fluctuations every time you open it. This can cause the eggs to sweat, creating moisture on the shell that encourages bacterial growth. The best place for your eggs is in their original carton, which protects them and has the expiration date. On a main shelf, preferably towards the back, where the temperature is coldest and most stable. This is about being a detective in your own kitchen. By inspecting for cracks, verifying freshness, and storing them wisely, you ensure that the egg you're about to cook is starting from the best, most safe place possible.
Part 5. The frying fat fallacy. Choosing your egg's cooking partner wisely. We have arrived at our final and perhaps most impactful mistake. It's the one that can take a perfectly fresh, gently cooked egg and turn it into an agent of inflammation. Mistake number 5 is cooking eggs in the wrong type of oil. For decades, we were told to fear fats like butter and embrace processed vegetable and seed oils. We dutifully filled our pantries with large jugs of corn oil, soybean oil, canola oil, and tubs of margarine. Unfortunately, we now know this advice was misguided, and these oils can be particularly problematic for us as we age. Here's the issue. These highly refined seed oils are often high in omega-6 fatty acids. While we need some omega-6, the modern American diet is overloaded with it, creating an imbalance with anti-inflammatory omega-3 fats. This imbalance is a major driver of chronic, low-grade inflammation, the very kind of inflammation that underlies so many age-related conditions, from achy joints and arthritis to heart disease and cognitive issues. Furthermore, these oils are not stable. When you heat them, especially to the temperature needed for frying, they break down and oxidize. This process creates harmful compounds, including trans fats and other lipid peroxides, which are even more inflammatory than the oil was to begin with. You're essentially frying your healthy egg in a bath of inflammation. Let's go back to Frank, our 78-year-old friend who had cooked his eggs in vegetable oil his whole life, thinking he was making the heart-healthy choice. He felt a general malaise, a kind of physical and mental sluggishness he couldn't shake. After his son shared some new research with him, Frank decided to conduct an experiment. He tossed the vegetable oil and started cooking his morning eggs in a small pat of real butter.
Sometimes he'd use a drizzle of olive oil if he was making a scramble. The change was profound. He reported feeling clearer in the mornings, with less stiffness in his hands. The only thing he changed was the fat in his frying pan. So who are the heroes in this story? What are the wise fats for cooking our eggs? Butter or ghee, clarified butter. These traditional fats have a wonderful flavor and contain healthy fat-soluble vitamins. Ghee has an even higher smoke point than butter, making it excellent for frying. Coconut oil. This is a stable, saturated fat that holds up well under heat and has its own unique health benefits. Avocado oil. This is a fantastic choice. It has a very high smoke point, meaning it's stable at high temperatures, and it's full of healthy monounsaturated fats, similar to olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil. Best for lower heat cooking, like a gentle scramble. Its robust, peppery flavor can be a delicious addition. Choosing the right cooking fat is one of the most powerful levers you can pull to improve the health profile of your meal. It's not just about what you cook, it's in what you cook it. By ditching the unstable, inflammatory seed oils and embracing stable traditional fats, you're turning your frying pan from a source of potential harm into a tool for nourishment. You're ensuring that your perfect golden egg is paired with a partner that supports your health, your energy, and your vitality.
We've traveled quite a journey today, all centered around the humble, incredible egg. We've seen how simple, almost unconscious habits, the heat of our pan, the way we store leftovers, the oil we choose, can make the difference between a meal that builds us up and one that wears us down. The wonderful truth is that you hold all the power. You don't need to give up one of America's favorite foods. Instead, you can now approach it with wisdom and intention. Treating your eggs with care, cooking them gently, storing them safely, and pairing them with healthy fats is more than just good kitchen practice. It is an act of profound self-respect. It's an investment in your energy, your clarity, and your vibrant future. Each time you crack that shell, you have the opportunity to make a choice that truly nourishes your body and honors your health journey. If this conversation resonated with you today and you learned something you can carry into your own kitchen, I would be so grateful if you would like this video and subscribe to Senior Wise Journey. Please share it with a friend or family member who might also benefit from this knowledge. Your support allows us to continue creating content that respects your wisdom and empowers your health. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us. Be well, and we look forward to seeing you on our next journey.